Hi everyone, my name's Michelle. I'm Mama Loves You GB here on FlossTube. This is FlossMas, day 14, 10 more days to go till the big ho ho ho. We've got to a point now where I can confidently count down as well as up. So I have an advent calendar at school. In fact, I bought all the department an advent calendar. And the day that I took them in, it was 24 more school days to go. So I started opening my advent calendar that day. I thought, this is my school advent calendar. I'm just going to open it at school. And so I started to try and count down and I totally lost it. And now I just go in the morning and just open a door. Any door will do. Let's start off the day with chocolate. I do feel that there's like a certain blood sugar level in December that shouldn't be dropped below. And so, yeah, let's try and keep that going. I hope everyone's doing really well. I hope everyone's had a good 24 hours since I last spoke to you. Apologies for the video being a bit late today. I just did not have time to catch myself up. In fact, that was yesterday's video. Yeah, yesterday's video was late. I'm hoping today's will be a bit more on time. I just didn't have a chance to catch myself up yesterday. I've got all my boxes now in this lovely trug here, mainly because my other makeup bag broke, so I needed to harvest the box that it came in as a new makeup bag. Now, we have cause for celebration today. What is that cause for celebration, I hear you ask? Well, the cause for celebration is the fact that I have finally stitched everything on this stitch along. I have caught up. We have got a centre. So that beautiful variegated floss formed a sort of cartouche almost in the centre, and so that meant that I was able to put in the 2023 and what I believe to be some petals of flowers. So have I got something I can just put behind this momentarily, because it is, you can see the Christmas lights, which I've remembered to turn on today, poking through. There we go. I had hoped to iron it in honour of the fact that I am now, after 13 days, fully caught up, but it was not to be. It was not to be. So, oh, excuse me. Shall we then see what's next? I nearly said a little frog in my throat, and then that reminded me, because this is the way my brain hop, skips and jumps. I had terrible trouble with that. Oh, I must have come out like 3 times. So yeah, I had to frog. And to be honest, that's the first bit I've had to kind of frog. There's been a couple of little bits, but that was the first bit where quite a lot of it had to come back out. So let's see what today brings. So I had some questions today, actually, from people asking how I found out about this advent calendar. And the answer to that is because they did one last year. I was kind of already primed and aware of it. And I saw actually Ros Clark Craft had ordered one and it had arrived, and that kind of reminded me. But the best way, if you want to be notified of this for next year, a couple of things you need to do. Obviously go along and watch Caroline and Roxy. Sorry, Kerry, I keep doing that to you. Caroline and Kerry on Caroline's YouTube channel, which is Evertote Notes from the Workshop, where she does some videos by herself and some videos with Kerry. So go along and watch those. But also, if you sign up for their newsletter, then you'll be notified next year as well. You can buy this chart as a PDF, and you can buy last year's chart, I believe, as a PDF as well. So the most intriguing part of collecting samplers to me is the social history aspect. Who made this sampler? Where did they live? And what were their circumstances? These questions can sometimes be answered through some sleuthing. Today on my YouTube, I'll be talking about one special sampler from the island of Guernsey. Ooh. I love it. If you watched me before, I love finding out about who stitched samplers. It's really a massive part of it for me. If I see a sampler that I want to buy and then I can find the girl, that is like a huge green light for me. Probably shouldn't be, but it is. Okay, so we have got Deep Woods, which is a beautiful very, very dark green. And so we are going to come with this dark green further down here and sort of into the centre on both sides. So looking forward to doing that, and hopefully I'm going to catch that up this evening so that it's ready. You all know I filmed it the night before, so my this evening is yesterday. Right, a little bit of previous stitching this year. And this was a little reproduction that I did, and it was a very small reproduction, and I just loved it. It's actually stitched on perforated paper, about 18 count, I think. And when we went to see the exhibition at the Royal School of Needlework, the curator there was explaining to us how perforated paper had started to become much more popular with the addition of the ability to make stamps and to make sheets of stamps, because obviously you have to have very, very accurate precision punches to make the stamps so that you can tear them off. And the same type of machinery was used to make perforated paper, or sometimes called Bristol board. So it says, "Dear Alexander, when this you see, oh think on her who never can forget thee. God is thy keeper, trust in him, for he will not forsake thee." And then it says AB heart MC. So to my mind, AB is Alexander, MC is a girl who was deeply in love with Alexander and made this for him. It's in a beautiful little rosewood frame. The perforated paper is not quite as flat as it once was, but it's not too bad for what is probably getting on for 200, 150, somewhere between there, years old. So what I did with it was I charted it and I stitched mine in red, which I think looks fab. And then I made it into this little needle book. And so it just, see if I can unwrap my ribbons. There we go. I use this big, beautiful mother of pearl button, and then it folds open and you've got a big wool felt heart there, and you can pop little bits and bobs in there. So it sort of overlaps in the middle and then overlaps on the outside. Now you can get this chart if you would like it. It is on my Buy Me a Coffee, which the link will be down below. So if you'd like to, in return, buy me a coffee, that's fine. If you've already bought me a coffee this year and you've not grabbed this chart, then that's fine also. You'll just find the link on there. And I just think it's so lovely. You can do whatever you like with it, but I just think it's such a lovely little sentiment. Right, let's have a look in here. Whoops. Just sending my Mill Hill flying there. So number 14, I found already right down at the bottom, down by this kid who is making off with quite a bit of swagger, really. And he's making off so fast that his scarf is billowing out behind him, and he's robbed this Christmas tree and also this basket of fruit here. So let's have a look and see what we've got. Oh, we've got a snowman, a rather jolly snowman. I would love some snow this year. Chris is a big weather watcher and he watches all the different weather models, and he keeps showing me these charts of this really, really cold front that's coming, and I'm just like, are we getting snow? Are we getting snow? And then it looks like we might, and then we don't. And it's just disappointing. So those of you who live in areas where you get snow, I am very jealous. Right, a freebie. And then I've got a little bit of stitch kindness to share with you. Now, I know a lot of people like to do temperature sales, so temperature stitch alongs, whereby you stitch part of a chart in a certain colour based on the temperature that day. Now, sometimes people do the high temperature, some people do the low temperature, sometimes people do the medium temperature, the mean temperature. And there's lots of different patterns that you can get to allow you to do that. So this is a Jardin Privé one, it's a freebie. And I thought it was nice because it has a stitching theme. So you've got the months obviously down here. It goes up to 12, but you could obviously label them if you want to. And then here is a suggested set of colours, but very often if you search temperature sal on Google, you can usually find several different colour charts. So if you live in a very cold area, you perhaps would want a different scale to somebody who lives in a much warmer area. Now you can just stitch each one of the little spools in a certain colour, but it also talks about the fact that you can do different patterns. Okay, now let's have a look. Yeah, so what they're talking about here is doing a maximum and a minimum, minimum, and then another way of doing maximum and minimum, or you can just do whatever takes your fancy. So I thought that was quite a nice one, and it's lovely that it's free. Be something fun to do. I tried to do one once, and I just didn't pick the right scale. Got to the end of January and I just felt that what I'd stitched didn't really, to me, reflect the month. And I think it was because I tried to do the minimum temperature, and I got to the end of January and I just thought, it wasn't that cold. It wasn't that cold in January. And so perhaps if I did it again, I would pick the mean daily temperature, or work out the mean daily temperature. Right, this arrived for me today. Now, oh, something's dinging. I think my mum's phone's in here. This is from Patricia Geary, who runs the Blackbird Designs Chart Loan Library. And on, I think it was Homespun Needlework, Julie Casave's Facebook group, she sometimes puts a unicorn chart. What are you looking for? What would you like to stitch? And I always look on there because I always like to see whether I've got something that somebody would like to stitch, and occasionally I put a request on. So last year, maybe even the year before, I requested And To All a Good Night, the Blackbird Designs one, and a lovely lady in America lent it to me. And I'd seen this one pop up recently on Instagram, I think, and I'd never really seen it before. And so I was really struck with it. And so I put this one up as something I would like to stitch. And Patricia came up and she said that I could borrow it from the Blackbird Designs Chart Loan Library. So basically, she sends it to you. You've got 8 weeks to stitch it and send it back. I paid for the postage on this one because it was obviously coming to the UK, and I didn't want Patricia to have to bear any of that cost at all. So it's this one, Blessings and Kind Wishes. So I just love the sort of stalks on the roof. Now, herons are my favourite bird, so I'm kind of thinking I might try and just change those very slightly so that they look more like herons rather than storks. But it says, when this you see, remember me, though many miles apart we be. So I love that. And it's to be stitched on, what have they said? 30 count Old Town Blend by R&R Reproductions, which I'm pretty sure I don't have, but I'm pretty sure I can find something similar. I've got the suggested threads. How much I'm going to go with those suggested threads, I don't know, because I tend to find that with these older charts, I think this is 2008, maybe, the colourways have changed quite a lot anyway, so I tend to go by what matches the front rather than the actual colour, and then that gets to use my stash as well. You've also got 2 parts of a mystery stitch along here, and I have a feeling this has been now released separately. It looks familiar to me. Let me know if I'm wrong on that, but I've got a feeling. Or maybe it was the flea market one I'm thinking of in the parts. Has this been re-released? Tell me, has it been re-released? So that is something that I need to get on with pronto. And that might be my between Christmas and New Year stitch. So I need to make a working copy of that, as she asks you to, and then guard that with my life so that I can send it back to her when it's time to send it back, when I finished it. Day 14. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, ooh, we've got a very heavy one here. Now, quite frankly, I'm hoping for some bubble bath because I've run out. Reveal your inner radiance. Quite frankly, I'm not sure if we've got any inner radiance at the moment. Let's have a look. Wren. Ooh. Gentle cleansing gel. That's a big one. I do like Wren products, actually. I've had Wren things before. Gentle cleansing gel. Fabulous. We'll give that a whirl and I shall see you tomorrow. Stay classy, stitchers.